Hey, there we go. Finally went through. We are live. All right. Good race. Austin Cindric, of course, being compared to the, I don't know, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace incident. Whether or not it was, that's up to you to decide. We got the poll up right now, 88% saying no. But before we get into that, 5 restarts at the end of that race, and Kyle Busch came through on each and every single one of them. It looks like the 2-tire strategy for Kyle Larson finally at the very end of that race bit him. But up until that point, it looked like it was a really good call by Mr. Daniels there on top of the pit board. Of course, the Corey LaJoie, Carson Hocevar thing never. I mean, he looked. Carson Hocevar looked really good early, and obviously Hendrick was off with their setup all the way around. So Kyle Larson was able to overcome it. But in fairness to Corey LaJoie, he had not worked with that crew chief before in Alan Gustafson. They didn't have SMT data to go back on. So that's a tall order to ask your driver to give feedback in his first race with a team that he hasn't driven before. No real rapport with the crew chief. So that's a tough call for him. But we'll see what happens here. Let's see. Chat check. Looks like the chat is working on my end. So we'll jump into what you guys want to talk about down here. Is the 5-team testing different things for the playoffs? Why have they been so far off the past 3 races or so that they had to make wholesale changes on the first pit stop? It could be. Could very well be, Escobar. Obviously I don't work for them, so I don't know what they're doing, but that definitely could be a theory, no doubt about it. X-Dude saying KFB. So that's 3 wins for KFB. That's 3 wins for Joe Gibbs Racing. I kind of forgot about that meme, but I guess I'll have to bring it back for the next episode that I record tonight, or maybe in the morning, depending on how things go. I've warmed up to KB since his move to RCR. Says a lot of people have. I think what was it sounds funny, but I think what was holding a lot of people back from pulling for Kyle Busch was the fact that he drove for Toyota and not their specific manufacturer. But that's just me thinking out loud. Chrome Diesel, what's up, man? Good to see you on here. CFB, the 2023 Cup Series champion. I think he's going KFB. I got you, Mark Barnum. Dead End Viper, KB has a real shot at the championship, but worried about his team's consistency with bringing good cars to every track. Fair enough, but even when he's off just a little bit, he still has been able to make the most of it. What I would be worried about with Kyle Busch is the same thing I'm worried about with Kyle Larson. The DNFs. They have both had a lot of DNFs. They have both had a lot of speed this season. The DNFs are actually what concerns me more than the consistency. I think they both had consistently fast cars. I can only remember 2 races so far where Kyle Busch has just been totally out of it setup-wise. But the rest of them have been like DNFs due to wrecks or some type of mechanical failure. So that'd be actually what I'm more concerned about for both of them. Do you think Kyle Busch will celebrate his win tonight with some 3G hash Snoop Dogg style? Says OJ and toothpaste. I don't think he'll do that. I think if anything, he would do the gummies before he goes to bed. But he definitely shouted them out in Victory Lane, which I thought was a little risque for NASCAR since they don't like certain sponsors being promoted. But also, he's got some Cheddar's promotion that's going on too. I don't have a Cheddar's near me, so I don't really pay attention to those promotions. It's not like back in the day when Kevin Harvick finished top 10 or Ryan Newman. You got the free blooming onion at Outback. Woohoo, Kyle! 2 Kyles. Kyle wins. Says Shy. Yeah, we almost got a 1-2, but then multiple cautions there at the end. So we didn't get the Kyle 1-2 that I personally was pulling for. OJ and toothpaste. Damn, I thought Greg Alden was going to win. He was fast early, but the fastest car, talking about Earth 2, of course, the fastest car doesn't always win. Looks like Carson Hocevar had other plans, snatching it from him at the very end. Hello, BB. Sure was hoping Larson with some strategy, of course. Mary Grubbs. Hello, BB. Sure was hoping that Larson won, but enjoy watching Kyle Busch win. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good race overall. They claimed there was no passing, but then Kenny Wallace talked about there was a battle between the 22 and somebody else for like 10 laps, and they didn't show it. So I don't know if it was necessarily no passing or once again, Fox direction was off. So it is what it is. KFB, the new Punisher in town, says Beast. Oh, yeah, he's at 3 wins, man. Remember when everybody's talking about Kyle Busch is washed up? He's not the same guy he used to be. I was like, that's an interesting take on that one. That's what I've always thought about that. I think he is definitely still the same guy. I think he's definitely got 5 more peak years left in him. My warming up to KB isn't because he left Toyota. It's because he took a chance with RCR on a B tier team. That remains to be seen. Is RCR a B tier team? I don't think they were. I think Tyler Reddick proved that when he got there. And you didn't even see peak Tyler Reddick there, but Tyler Reddick, not even peak Tyler Reddick yet, won 3 races there. I would say RCR was just missing a superstar to show you how good the people and talent that they have in the shop are. And that's nothing against Austin Dillon. I think Austin Dillon's a really good race car driver, but I don't think even Austin Dillon has a problem with me saying he ain't Kyle Busch. So that's all I mean by that. I'm not taking a stab at Austin Dillon. Speaking of which, there's a poll up. Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric. Do you think Austin Cindric will be suspended? Howdy from Canada. The radio guys were jinxing cars again right after they mentioned Austin Dillon's new baby. He crashed. I forget the first guy they wrecked when they mentioned him. Oh, that happens. The old radio or TV jinx. It is a real thing, or definitely it seems to be a real thing. People overreacting to Chastain yet again, says JFB48. Yeah, I would agree with that. That was definitely without a doubt funny. Oh, Camaro with the super chat. Let me see what he had to say down here. Let's see. Back-to-back Camaro wins. Says Camaro 50. So yeah, appreciate the love there, dude. I really appreciate that. Without a doubt. But yeah, back-to-back Chevrolet wins. I know it's not because Blaney won, but yeah, the Camaro wins again though. But yeah, for sure. Let's see. Jeb Burton got clowned. Says Thomas Haywood. Yeah. So if you haven't seen the Chandler Smith and Jeb Burton sort of got into it in the Xfinity Series race, and Chandler Smith posted a video on his social media account, so just check it out. I can't really add anything to it because it's just one of those deals that you have to see. But yeah, William Wagaman, it was very interesting, very long race, worldwide technical raceway, major internet breakdown, really showed how good things are out there, and why does Fox have to show every kid out there? Yeah, that's a good question. They could show every kid in the stands, but they couldn't show the battles on the track. At least in the early part of the race. If RCR can finally nail the short tracks, then I will be satisfied, says Dead End Viper. That's a fair point. They have been atrocious at the short tracks for the most part. So that's those are actually the two I was thinking about where they were just off setup-wise. Do you think Austin Cindric wrecked the 3 and the 47 on purpose, says OJ and Toothpaste? I don't know if I can say it was on purpose, but I have seen where Richard Childress said that he thought it was on purpose, so it looked like retaliatory. All I can say is that from the replay I saw, the 2 definitely turned down. Now, the 2 turned down. So now whether it was on purpose or not, that's another story. I guess they, since the SMT data went down, I guess they'll have to plug it into the black box of the race car and see what happened there. Beast with the super chat. Sick and tired of blaming Ross for everything, Train, says Beast. Yeah, I'm right there with you, and I appreciate the super chat there, Beast. There with you on that. Like Michael McDowell just had a slower car, and he took 2 tires, and we saw that taking 2 tires didn't necessarily do anything negative to you. So it wasn't necessarily the 2 tires. Michael McDowell's car was just way slower than the cars behind him, and he gave plenty of room. I think Joey Logano maybe was out of him, but he didn't give a ton of room to Ross Chastain, and Ross Chastain went as low as he could go, got on the rumble strips and slipped up and got into him. To me, it was a racing incident. You could put the blame wherever you want to, but this whole getting Ross Chastain to bail you out when you're driving pretty much close. I mean, he wasn't doing anything wrong either, but he didn't give him a lot of room. So if you don't give somebody a lot of room at a track where you know a lot of guys are pushing up, you kind of got to expect what happened there. Keep Kenny, and to be fair, Michael McDowell didn't say anything. That was Michael McDowell's spotter. Keep Kenny Wallace around better than Boyer, says William Wagman. Oh, there was people going crazy. They hated the booth today at Fox. Kenny Wallace and Clint Boyer was just way too much for some people. Were you impressed with Corey LaJoie today? He did damn good, says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't have a problem. I think Corey LaJoie is a good driver. The comparison to Carson Hocevar, I think, was unfair. That being said, Alan Gustafson and Hendrick missed the setup, and without having a working relationship there was going to be no way for Corey LaJoie to get off of that setup because he doesn't know how they do things at Hendrick. He's only been there for 1 race. So that's a tall task to ask any backup driver to fix a basically an atrocious setup that they showed up with. The cautions in the how Kyle Larson overcame it is beyond me, but he's done it 2 races now. The cautions in the final 40 laps were just misery. Says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, that was tough to watch. I'm sure if you were a Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin or Joey Logano fan, I'm sure. NASCAR and BB need Elon Musk Skylink. Yeah, I definitely need a bump in internet speed. There's no doubt about it. High speed internet everywhere, says Shaw. Get Kenny Wallace out. Thing has to be passed by him, says Thomas Haywood. Jim Franklin, Corey LaJoy tried too hard. That could be it, or he played it too cautious. He did something there, but I just don't think he had the anything with. Hocevar just drove himself into a promotion, says X Dude. There's also another way of looking at Hocevar, and I'm not taking anything away from him. I think what he did today was very impressive, but he also might have drove that car too hard, just like some of those other guys did, and his left foot might have been the reason that those brakes exploded too. So there's always two ways of looking at it. I personally think that they're both good drivers, and I don't know why we have to compare both of them. Were you impressed with Larson today? Yeah, I mean, I'm always impressed with Larson. He's a fairly decent race car driver, I would say. If Austin Cindric is suspended, so should Nick Sanchez. I didn't see the Nick Sanchez deal, but a lot of people said that he hooked Haley Deegan on purpose, and that was a rather rough wreck as well. I did see the wreck. I just didn't see the what preceded the wreck. I just saw her car off the ground, or truck off the ground and stuff like that. What did you think of Noah Gregson's crash today? It was rough. I'm glad he's okay. And he also, I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but he reached a fan got hit with a piece of the brake rotors that exploded there. And he got up with that fan, and he is going to make it right with them, giving them some merch and stuff like that. So Noah Gregson, once again, proving he is a man of the people. Duke Chronic says, hey, Blooneyberger, there was a lot of on purpose today. I agree with you, man. So that's what I'm saying. Now that NASCAR has delved into this on purpose deal, they might have their work cut out for them. Streamlabs says Ross was on the rumble strips any lower, and he is on the campground. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what else. Michael McDowell said he gave him room, but if you're on the rumble strips, how much room did you give the dude? So it's one of those deals. So let's see here. I got another super chat. What's up? Let's go down here. Extreme Labs, KFB, my man. This 8 team might really be dangerous this year. Fingers crossed for the championship 3. Yeah, I'm with you, and fist bump for the super chat. I'm with you. I think he's definitely got to be on your list of top 4. Him and Kyle Larson, William Byron, they've all got to be locks to be in your top 4. Of course, one of those guys could get upset because the playoffs are just insane. But I think if you're just looking at the numbers and you're looking at who's been fast this year, I think those guys are pretty safe to say that you could put them in your final 4. I would also, and this is going to be a little bit of a stretch, I also would put Ryan Blaney in there. I have no problem putting Ryan Blaney in that final 4 either. So that right now would be my final 4. Robin Marks, hit that like button. I would appreciate it if you hit the like button, but do not feel pressured. William, I agree. Love Kenny Wallace. So yeah, equal parts love and hatred for Kenny Wallace. Looks like we got some more super chats down here. So let me get to those real quick. Let's see. Oh, it's not showing them. But I appreciate the Streamlabs. Appreciate the super chats. It looks like you gave 2 more, but they are not showing them. So let me go back up to where I was at. Ross hasn't done very good since Darlington. Yeah, a lot of people putting on the tinfoil hats, saying Chevrolet's not giving him fast motors anymore. Streamlabs, wow, I really like the booth today, but I like Kenny. I thought it was a good balance between Clint, Mikey, and Kenny, and Mike. Yeah, so that was I didn't even to be honest with you, after the cell phone incident, I really didn't even know that Michael Waltrip was up there. He sort of got drowned out between the other two, in my opinion. Duke Chronic, this track, pit road was dangerous. We have seen a pit guy hurt. Should they have more options to change it to quick yellows and make the pits safer? That's a fair point. And also, I'd like to point out that they did basically say that Austin Dillon didn't hit that pit crew guy, but it definitely was a dangerous situation, and he definitely did get hurt. Shaw says, embrace Starlink. Forget these chump 60-year-old satellite systems. By the way, woohoo, bushy bush. I call Hosafar doesn't finish. LOL. Yeah, so calling that he didn't finish, that was definitely a good call. I have embraced Starlink. They just haven't sent me any stuff yet. But allegedly, they're putting in fiber optics. So we might get this done one way or another here. If they put in fiber optics, I'll just go with that, and I'll just cancel my Starlink. Whatever you do, put in the $100 to hold it or whatever it was. Duke Chronic, did anyone ask why it was not Josh Berry in the 9? We know it's official. He is going to SHR. I mean, basically, I think that's probably had more to do with it than anything. Even though they haven't like officially announced it yet, I think it's unofficially official, and that was basically your confirmation of that. Yep, Hocevar blew his brakes, faster speeds, and a heavier car, says Shaw. Yeah, so like I said, there's two ways of looking at it, but he definitely showed what he can do in a race car, right? And I think a lot of teams probably are going to look back at this race and be like, we probably needed more cooling air to the brakes as well, because we saw he wasn't the only one that did that. And typically it was all of your aggressive drivers that was wearing them out. And I think that could have something to do with why Ross sort of backed up toward the end of this race. They were probably like the really aggressive drivers were blowing brakes apart. And Ross is a really aggressive driver, so that might have had something to do with it. Barry had to run the Portland race as William Wagman. I mean, that probably factored into it too. But Hendrick has a private jet, so I don't think it was all the way what factored into it. BB, are you shocked Kenny Wallace didn't make the top 75 NASCAR over Casey Kane? It is a bummer. That Stacker 2 car is absolutely legendary. There's no doubt about that. Glad next race is last coverage for Fox, and then NBC takes coverage starting in Nashville, says Chrome Diesel. Cindric didn't. A lot of people are ready for NBC Chrome for sure. Bumblebee says Cindric didn't intentionally wreck the 3. Watch the replay. Both are at fault. I'm not saying intentionally or not. I'm just saying a lot of people like Cindric didn't move the car. I was like, well, Cindric did turn down. Now, whether it was intentional or not, that's another story altogether. Let's see. RJ says, hey, Bumblebee, 48, what's up? So RJ's in the house. Good to see you on here as always. Bumblebee, one was coming up and one was coming down. Yeah, so it could have been a little bit of tit for tat. I just looked at it because somebody sent me a message saying Austin Cindric's car didn't move. And so I looked at it and I was like, well, he definitely turned left. So that's the only reason I was making that point. Camaro 50, I said a black Camaro wins, BB. Every time a black Camaro wins a race, you get 20. My Camaro is black. So there you go. I appreciate it, Camaro 50. Those brake disc failures were wild. Did you know a fan got hit? That's some bad stuff, says Shaw. Yeah, the brake issues were definitely wild. And the fan that got hit was hit with Noah Gregson's deal. And Noah Gregson is going to send him some gear to make up for it. So once again, he is being Noah Gregson, man of the people, mayor of the NASCAR fandom, in my opinion. OJ and Toothpaste says, my top 4 for Phoenix, Earth 1 style. I got the 47, the 15, the 78, and the 77. So yeah, those are those are definitely good picks there. I like it. So Earth 2, I think the 78's a lock on Earth 2. 77 definitely a lock on Earth 2. 15 is a lock every year. He's just an absolute legend no matter who's in that car. That's a rare car, the 15, that is just legendary no matter what. The 47, I don't think he's going to make the Final 4 on our Earth 2 there, OJ. Bumblebee says, RJ, I'm good. I sent you a follow on Twitter. I would love one back, says Bumblebee. So there you go. Making a Twitter connection there. Duke Chronic, if you bet all drivers with a B last name, you won 60% of the races. That is a fantastic fact. I had not even looked at that up. That's a great statistic right there. Epileptic Bumblebee followed you on both of my Twitters, says RJ. So there you go. People who hate folks like Kenny Wallace and Mikey Walnuts are just sad and need help. They're straight up good guys. Yeah, they bring a lot of color to it. It just depends on how you want your race called. At the end of the day, I'm not going to make fun of any of these guys because they all do better jobs than me as far as live race coverage and stuff like that. Let's see. Fun fact, this was Stenhouse' first race. He did not finish all season. Yeah, and it really stinks, too, because he had a good race going, and then he got caught up in that aforementioned, whether it was on purpose or not, the Austin on Austin crime. Either way you look at it, I'm behind Austin on that one. So I think that's definitely what you can say there. 79% saying no, he's not going to be suspended. So 79% are with Austin. What part of the country are you from, says Jim Franklin. I am from North Carolina. So that's where I'm from. RJ says, Bumblebee, no problem. What do you call someone who challenges Mike Tyson to a fight? An ambulance. There you go. The famous RJ dad jokes. Like, dislike, wear that tinfoil hat. Mr. H shut that stuff down, says like, dislike. Yeah, no problem, man. We're all about the tinfoil hat on the live streams, no doubt about it. I think Mikey's comments blended in so well that you barely noticed him, says Sonny V. That could be it. That definitely could be it. RJ says, made the same joke about Ross earlier. I thought Mikey W was good, not overbearing, but said good things. Yeah, like I said on the previous one, I've really enjoyed Michael Waltrip in the truck booth since he's been doing that for like well over a decade, if not more. What did Cindric do to risk being suspended? Basically, he right hooked him. So I put a joke up on Twitter saying, is Denny going to send the SMT data from Cindric's right hook? Because I was joking. That sailed over a lot of people's heads. So if you saw that on Twitter, that's what that was about. That's just a joke about Denny Hamlin putting out SMT data to make his case. But I am interested to see the SMT data now that it actually has become a thing, because I didn't even think it would become a thing. I was joking about it. But yeah, it has become a thing on Twitter. Will Austin Cindric get suspended? And I feel safe to say it's probably a lot of Chase Elliott fans who are like, our guy got suspended. That guy must be suspended. Rah! So let's see. Bumblebee, watch the race from my phone. Oh, that's the worst. I've had to do that before too, RJ. I only saw the highlights, but what happened with Jeb in the collie car yesterday? Well, I will say this. If I was Jeb Burton, I would be mad too, because I felt like I was roughed up a few times. Now, whether I would go over there and fight him and then claim that I did a good job fighting him, and then Chandler Smith showed the video that Jeb Burton might have misremembered how well he fought in that one. Mark Barnum, I got to call the live short tonight. I headed to the river in the morning at 5 a.m. Have fun on the river, man. But thanks for hanging out, Mark Barnum. Stenhouse winning the title. Says Bumblebee, it could be his year. It could be one of those strange years. You never know. I will say this. He has had a much better season this year than he's ever had before. Noah Gragson could never win again. I will always be a fan and have faith, says Shy. Yeah, I think Noah Gragson, he makes a lot of people happy. And I think next year he is going to be, he even said it in his interview, he's waiting for next year. But I think next year he's going to have much better cars and he'll be much better. He'll have a much better showing for himself. It was disappointing. Xfinity race. I had no live pit stops. They ran standalone races with live pit stops at the past. And now NASCAR says they can't these days is BS, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, live pit stops are always more fun. So hopefully we get rid of the stage cautions as well. So hopefully they fix all that in the future. 51 is 15 E2 on Earth 2. Says Duke Chronic. They're transposable either way on either Earth. Jim Franklin, dude, you're my favorite YouTuber. You answer and respond to everyone. I appreciate you, Jim Franklin. I try to, because I remember back in the day, it just felt like the bomb when somebody answered your question. So I do my best. I don't always get all of them. Sometimes I miss some of them, but I do try to read everybody's thing. And if I miss you, just retype it, and I'll try to get to it. Were you surprised that Brian Vickers didn't make the top 75 NASCAR drivers? Oh, that one hurts, OJ. I was a big Brian Vickers fan because he was like another North Carolina guy, so I was a big Brian Vickers fan. But yeah, definitely on Earth too. He will be in the top 75. Noah is my boy, and this was pre Brian Vickers choice in wives, by the way. Shaw says Noah is my boy. Where's Molten Rage? Yesterday was his day. I don't know where Molten's at, man. I felt like he would be up on here talking all kinds of Cole Custer, but he is. I guess he's sitting this one out. Why he chose Petty now? Legacy baffles me, but I love Noah. I just feel like he thought it was his best chance, and I don't know if he knew about Toyota or not. But either way, I think he thought it was his best chance to get going in Cup. I don't think he necessarily sees himself staying there, but he knew it would be his best chance to get another better Cup ride, is my opinion. I remember them old racers, and they are color guys, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, it seems like all the old racers went to color. They don't go to like strictly analysis and stuff like that, which is interesting because Larry Mack went strictly to analysis, so he's more the analysis side of things. So it's interesting. RSJ. 2023 Cup champ, Earth 1 and 2, calling it now, says Bumblebee. There you go. Ricky Stinkin' Stenhouse Jr. is going to be the champion on Earth 1 and 2, according to Bumblebee. I like it. Hot take from Bumblebee there. I think Legacy will be a considerably better team when they swap the Toyota. I liked Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s car today, too. He gets a lot of flack for how those cars look. That NASCAR looked really good today. Longer term, I think it's a great move for Noah and the rest of the team, says Ghetto Streamlabs. I agree with you 100% there, Streamlabs. I think long-term, it's going to be their best bet because they're going to get closer to good equipment than they were with Chevrolet. Chevrolet, they were the 4th or 5th team at best. Toyota, they're the 3rd team, no matter what. Bumblebee says, and I'm just going to throw this out there because they're using Toyota Pit Crew too. I wouldn't be surprised if that 47 went to Toyota again at some point either. Bumblebee, I hope Stenhouse can do it, says RJ. So, all right, we got 2 on the Stenhouse bandwagon here. I like it. Duke Chronic, I was watching the Detroit Indy, and it was terrible today. Yeah, it looked like a lot of suspension failures. I think who's the guy that used to race for Haas? The French dude. I can't think of it. Grosjean. He said these cars were not built for that speedway or something to that effect in one of his tweets. He had a suspension failure as well. I like Michael Kinney and Clint. Says live free or die trying. Yeah, that I mean, it just depends on your taste. I didn't necessarily have a problem with it, but I'm going off of Twitter. A lot of people wanted to put their TV on mute. Duke Chronic, more terrible than paper, says RJ Bansma. I predicted Corey finishing 18th. He finished something like 21st. I was close. Yeah, and he had to rally to get that 21st too. So let's not take that away from him either. Like he probably had a 30th or 28th place car. So he did rally to get that finish that he got. Tony B looked pretty good in her second truck start. I like how she's taking development seriously. Says Red Frog. Yeah, so I will say this about her. She has gotten leaps and bounds better than when I saw her driving in the Cars Tour. And that's not taking anything away from her. That's actually a compliment that somebody can start where she started at and just become so much better than where she was. So as long as she keeps on that working hard and keeps on that trajectory of getting better, the sky's the limit, you know. RJ says, Duke Chronic, how much of the community enjoys the jokes I tell? It doesn't matter. Just tell them. Tinfoil hat, better reception. Hey, there you go. If you put the tinfoil hat on, you do get better reception, and you block the government from reading your thoughts or whoever's reading your thoughts. Lizard people or whatever that weird guy said. Chase Elliott, the most wanted. As an Elliott fan, I don't think Cindric should be suspended. It was just a racing matter because it looked like Dylan cut across also. Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely could be. Like I said, I made a joke about it, and after I made the joke, it like really took off. There's literally some people that want Austin Cindric suspended, so we'll just have to see how it plays out, and we'll have to see what happens. Like Kyle Busch is going to take them behind the woodshed next week, also at Sonoma. It could be. I want to see how aggressive Chase Elliott is in that Sonoma race as well, because that could be him being overly aggressive, trying to lock himself into the playoffs. I'm really enjoying this season personally. Says Shy, it's had a lot of drama this season. The racing on the track has not necessarily been the greatest, but the drama has been by far probably the most dramatic season I can remember. Vickers should have been top 75 simply because he is the greatest championship battle in 2003 Busch Series. Maybe he'll get a little spot in the Hall. Well, NASCAR is never going to let him, because of who he married, be in the Hall of Fame for anything. Never mind. Maybe he'll get a little special spot in the Hall of Fame where he gets mentioned for that 2003 battle. Car is getting worked out, says Shy. Yeah, this car, despite what Fox showed on TV, there was actually passing at this racetrack, especially as they got longer green flag runs, which were hurt by the stage cautions and then the umpteen cautions at the end of the race. I don't remember seeing Steve Park included in the top 75 in NASCAR's 75 celebrations, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, I don't think he made the list. Ghetto Streamlabs, I would not be upset if Larry was put back in the booth. I thought Larry in the booth was probably the best. I like Jamie Mack in the booth too. They've had so many good people that it's hard to say who a great booth should be, but they've got a lot of really good options to choose from. I will say that. Be safe, everyone. Speed is for the Speedway. Please buckle up. Good night. Good night. Says William Wagaman. OJ and Toothpaste hot take. Jimmy Johnson wins the Chicago Street Course. That is a hot take, OJ and Toothpaste. Are you picking that for both Earths like they picked it? So that would be interesting how they did that. Shaw says boo Stenhouse. LOL. So Shaw is anti-Stenhouse. Question: who owns these Cup cars, NASCAR or the teams? How is it NASCAR can take the 14 to R&D, tear it completely apart, return it disassembled back to the team, then demand 250K? I should say, says Trip Smith. Well, that's what they sign up for when you sign up all your stuff to get into the racetrack. That's part of the fine print that NASCAR reserves the right to tear down your car, even though they don't own it. And give it back to you in pieces, and they probably broke stuff too, or at least ruined it to where you'll ever be to use it for a performance part again. But that being said, it's on the fine print on the price of admission. That's what they call it, literally, price of admission, I guess I should say, to run the races. Let's see. Red Frog, JTG to Toyota with a deal with a Legacy, very well could be. Yeah, I've thought this for a long time, and I've got nothing to back it up or prove it. It's just a thought I've got. So it's literally the loosest of gossip. I haven't heard anything about it. It's just something I've always thought about ever since the 47 went and started using, Joe Gibbs Racing pit crew, and they tried to help Joe Gibbs Racing get a sponsor for Kyle Busch last year. They just seem to be aligned with Toyota, so I assume a switch to Toyota is coming at some point. What was the last single car team to win the NASCAR Cup Series championship? Says RJ Banzema. Single car team. That would be single car team. I was thinking single owner. Single car team would have to be the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. The last single owner single car team, like driver owner, I think is Alan Kowicki. And the last driver owner, I think, to win the championship would have to be Tony Stewart. But those are all just guesses. I haven't looked at anything official. Those are just guesses. Ghetto Streamlabs, as far as the booth goes, I don't need to like it. I just need to not hate it. LOL, says Ghetto Streamlabs. That's definitely a fair point. Wi-Fi issues aside, FS1 was still terrible today, says Napa Racing Fan 927. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It was not their one shining moment. RJ says, OJ and Toothpaste, I don't see Ward racing again. Mary Grubbs, what does AMC stand for? American Motor Car Company, maybe? I don't know. Stephen Emilio Jr., I don't know what those people that think Ricky Stenhouse can win the championship are smoking, but I want some of it. Well, they're obviously on the three chi game team. Napa Racing Fan says, I love how track was named Worldwide Technology Raceway. That had internet issues, go figure. What if it was one dude in the back of his yard, like putting up a fence, and he sunk the post hole diggers into the orange Wi-Fi cable, fiber optics cable? What if it was one dude working on a Sunday, putting up a fence or something like that, and he caused the entire Wi-Fi to go down at Worldwide Technology Raceway? How funny would that be? Chrome Diesel, RJ, Truex in 2017. I say, okay, it looks like I was right about Truex on that one. I don't know about the other ones. They showed where the front, where no action was, but 18th to 28 was amazing racing, and that's what I figured. And that's what I hate about Fox. They get so locked in. At least NBC will do the side by side where they show you their version of side by side, where they show you the leader and the best battle in the pack. And I think going forward, that should be everybody's go-to. American Motor Corporation. So I was wrong about that one. Mary Grubbs with the save there. The reason Vickers didn't make it in the top 75 is mainly the deal with his wife. I won't go into detail, but she's an evil woman, says Bumblebee. Yeah, exactly. And we're going to leave it at that. If you want to find out about it, you can Google it. There's a lot of people that cover politics that will fill you in on that one. Teams are charters, and they are official teams, says Duke Chronic. Napa Racing Fan, FS1 had terrible camera angles and missed a ton of stuff today. Sucked not to have in-car cameras and a delay on the NASCAR app. Yeah, it was a disaster as far as the Wi-Fi goes. It just shows you how much we rely on Wi-Fi now compared to back in the day. It's pretty crazy. Race cars and dogs, got to give 3 years before you decide if they're any good, says Shah. That's hilarious. Furniture Row, says Red Frog, talking about the last single car team. Do you think Chase Briscoe might win the championship this year, says OJ and Toothpaste? I don't even know if he'll get into the playoffs in either one of them. I think he's just going to be sort of middle of the pack all year is what it looks like. But if he can get a win in either earth, that'll put him over the top. My jokes are cheese in Wisconsin, says RJ. Would you care to see Mike Helton join the booth as a race analyst, at least for one stage of a future race? I'd just love to hear from old Mike Helton again. You hardly hear from the guy anymore, and I would just love to hear what he's got to say these days. Duke Chronic, if you watched every year, all them deets. So, hey, there you go. RJ, Mary Grubbs, correct. Glad it ain't my car. There you go. That's GMC. AMC ain't my car. Puff, pass it on, says Shaw. The best thing about Fox broadcast is never having Jeff Burton in the booth, says Bo Darble, the bandit, with the Jeff Burton hate. There you go. Early in the season for Jeff Burton hate, but here we are. Why did the fireworks go off on lap 4? Well, it was kind of chilly down there, so they're trying to warm the place up, and it looks like it went wrong because it got super hot after that. Duke Chronic. Yeah, I don't know. It was just some pyrotechnics. They were trying to make the track look cool for photogenic reasons. so they can have a cool social media picture next year. Bo Darvel, is Jeff Burton boring as hell, says RJ Bansma. A lot of people think he is, and a lot of people think he just has one voice, and that is just to scream at the top of his lungs all the time. Kyle Busch, not Larson, is in the greatest of all time right now. So cool for this win. Many more to come. Says your Cobra. I thought it was a pretty good Kyle and Kyle show. When they were actually allowed to race before all 5,000 of the cautions came out, they were putting on a pretty good, clean racing show. So I did enjoy that. Bumblebee says, I got to go. Work at 5. Y'all be good. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Bumblebee. Good night to you as well. Duke Chronic, Kyle and Kyle show. Bumblebee, have a good night, says RJ. Bo Darvel, RJ, he is just awful in every way, talking about Jeff Burton. I think Jeff Burton is pompous and arrogant. Other than that, he's all right, says Robert. Bumblebee waving goodbye. Derek Long, LaJoy disappointed, and Yaley overperformed. Yes, JJ Yaley with another JJ Yaley overperformance. Let's see. This race was on FS1 due to USFL on Fox and had a limited post-race only winners interview due to soccer. Really, Fox? Yeah, so there you go. Once again, put on the back burner. I don't get it because NASCAR gets way better ratings than all this stuff that Fox pushes, and it's just lame. Who runs NASCAR on E2? Says Chrome Diesel. NASCAR on Earth 2 would definitely have to be run by somebody legit. We'll have to think about that one for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll before I forget about it. NBC could do without Burton, says Mary Grubbs. Just shows how unprofessional Fox is. EB is gone. Let's get wild and rowdy. Wins. Woohoo, says Shaw. RJ says, his butt cheeks one word, or should I spread them apart? Hey, there you go. Dale Jarrett would be better than Jeff Burton. I don't hate Burton in the booth, though. I like Dale Jarrett, too. I don't understand why he always just gets all the spot work. Shaw saying bye to EV. Mary Grubbs saying rolling on laughing out loud. RJ, LOL. The KFB villain to hero arc has been amazing to watch, says Mark Ora. Yeah, if you told somebody 5 years ago or even 2 years ago, I bet you'll be pulling for Kyle Busch one day. They would have looked at you like you were crazy, but a lot of those people are pulling for him today. There's no doubt about it. Speed Channel is the main NASCAR portal on Earth 2. I like it. There we go, Beast. There you go. I like that one. Speed Channel is it still exists on Earth 2, and it put every other racing thing out of business, and Speed covers all the coverage on Earth 2. The reason, and Bob Jenkins is still with us, and he's the man over there. The reason I asked the question is these are the Dallara and our purpose-built GT10 top race car. NASCAR commissioned the design. Wonder if these teams bought a license, but not the actual car, says Trip Smith. Oh, that's a good question. I never even thought of that. I'm not sure how that works in Indy, but yeah, that's a good question. I know the underbody is super just don't touch it type of stuff, so I don't know. 5 restarts was brutal, says Duke Chronic. I agree. I say bring Mario Andretti into the booth the next Cup race in Indianapolis. He was in the booth for one of the Cup races and did a great job. Number 8, I'm sure Dale Jr. Is so happy. Says your Cobra, no doubt. No need to suspend Cindric, says Casey. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like that, but for whatever reason, it started getting some run on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it's like Chase Elliott fans that are still mad, but I had to acknowledge it. I do Chronic. It was cool to see B-Rex run to his dad, thanking his crew chief. And by the way, I made a joke on Twitter talking about Will Denny Hamlin post SMT data of Austin Cindric, and I think some people took it seriously. So, by the way, it did get serious on Twitter. G. Burton is boring as Jeff Burton is boring to listen to. As he is to watch. The no balls champ, says Shaw. Was Harrison Burton in today's race? Yeah, he was. At one point, he was in the top 15. But later on, obviously was not. Would love to see a team owner commentate as a one-off, says Derek Long. Yeah, I think the closest we got to that this year was Jeff Gordon. I always expect a joke from yours. Well, we got Tony Stewart was in there. So we have had one team owner, Tony Stewart. Always expect a joke from yours truly, says RJ. Burton and Dale Jr. Sound close. Yeah, their voices do sound similar. Dale Jarrett and Dale Jr. would be a great booth. Yeah, the Dale and Dale show. That'd be a good podcast too. What can NASCAR do about the brake rotor problem? Is it more a car or a flat track issue? I would say probably it's more of a cooling issue because there's more braking at road courses, I would imagine. So it It's probably a brake cooling issue. They probably were trying to keep it as sealed off as possible. Duke Chronic, Ward sounds like Boomhauer talking about Ward Burton. Thomas Haywood says Kyle Busch going to the 8 makes Dillon look even worse. I don't necessarily know if it makes him look any worse, but it shows how good RCR is and that Austin Dillon is a solid driver, but he's obviously, to nobody's surprise, he's no Kyle Busch. I think, like I said, Tyler Reddick proved that last year that the team was good. They just didn't have a superstar driver, and that's nothing against Austin Dillon. I think Austin Dillon's actually a solid driver. He's just not that elite superstar driver. Why is there so much hate towards Jeff Burton, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr.? I don't know, but a lot of people just dislike him. I know a lot of that hate comes from a lot of Ross Chastain fans, because even myself last year, I was critical of him because he was way too harsh on Ross Chastain. He had an absolute hate boner for him. There's no doubt about that. Your Cobra says, is Kyle Busch a fan favorite now? I heard no boos after that sick burnout. I mean, it could be. It's trended toward more cheers than boos here this season for sure. Do you think Kyle Petty will be a Fox play-by-play announcer when Mike Joy retires? I don't know, but he's definitely I like Kyle Petty as well, so he definitely will be in the running for it. Late to the party, hit that like button if you haven't. Says, say Kyle, I would appreciate it, but don't feel pressured into doing it. I'm sure Jeff Burton is a awesome dude, but so is my high school principal. But damn, so by the rules, boring, says Shaw. So there you go. Adam Alexander will be play-by-play, no doubt. Adam Alexander is another good one. Mark Langren with the thumbs up. Appreciate you, Mark. Bo Darville says, let me say this. I'd rather have Kyle Petty than Jeff Burton. So there you go. Another vote for Kyle Petty. Bo Darville, Kyle Petty's pretty interesting to listen to. I think so too. He always has a take. Carbon fiber instead of steel would solve the rotor issue, says Trip Smith. Yeah, but they're trying to save money. So I don't know how NASCAR would sell that one. By the way, where's Luke and Daisy, says RJ. I don't know. Where are they ever going to take down the Michael Waltrip Racing sign down in Cornelius, North Carolina? I think it's a historic landmark now, so I think they're going to leave it up forever. Jamie, goodbye Fox after Sonoma. Cheers. Not counting the trucks. NBC will be way better. What's oddly funny is the truck booth is sometimes better than the Cup booth. That's just funny to me. So less people have problems with the Truck Series coverage than the action, and the camera angles are better in trucks. So maybe they need to promote all of the truck people to the Cup Series. I still like Mike Joy, so hopefully Mike Joy stays there. This weekend, I got so annoying with overtime finishes all 3 races this weekend, says Chrome. Yeah, I always hate a green-white checkered finish, but at least the guy that probably should have won the race won the race. My bad, Jeff Burton, not G. Burton. LOL. F him, says Shaw. Rick Hendrick broke Ross Chastain's spirit. I don't know about that. If so much it's just Ross Chastain laying low for a little while, and then he'll ratchet it up when he needs to. Always mute NBC audio and use MRN. Says Sonny V, the play-by-play guy is okay, but doesn't know the sport well. Letarte is good. Jeff and Dale is like fingernails on a blackboard because they scream a lot, is what I'm guessing there. Derek Long, does the Finish Line Motorsports or any of the new teams from last year actually show up? I don't think so. I haven't seen any of those teams that were supposedly coming to Cup show up yet. Do you like the Wendy's commercials during the race? They're pretty annoying, says OJ and Two. Yeah, Wendy's is another one that'll wear out a commercial pretty quick, even if it's good. Alexandre, I can't say your last name because I'm going to mess it up. But let's see. What's up, bro? Alex from Brazil. There we go. We'll go with Alex from Brazil. What's up, Alex from Brazil? What's up, Brazil? Mike Ora, to elaborate, I was a big Anderson Silva fan, so I'm a big I like Brazil a whole lot, not just for Anderson Silva. Mike Ora, to elaborate on my last comment, I feel KB has turned hero since he is now with RCR, especially with older fans who remember Senior. He's one of the few drivers who can bring RCR a championship. I think that has a lot to do with it too. Thomas Haywood, 18 likes 68 in the chat. Hit that like button. Don't miss like Jib, says Thomas Haywood. EB, she is the devil and tried to end the world, says Mark Langren. Let's see. Broken rotors and wrecked cars doesn't sound too economical to me, says Trip Smith. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't seem economical that NASCAR claims are saving money, but it is what it is. Bo Darville, Xfinity booth was good with Adam, Bain, and McMurray. Yeah, Jamie McMurray is another good one. I don't know if I mentioned him yet or not. I was slightly amazed that Mike Waltrip and Clint Boyer can be in the same room, says Shot. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. But, yeah, That's definitely a fair statement. Duke Chronic, I think Ross was told to act like Chevy guys are teammates. Says Duke Chronic. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. A lot of younger drivers had brake problems, says Thomas Haywood. That's a fair point as well. Would you do it to Daniel Ross, says Duke Chronic, talking about the speech that Ross might have got. Allgaier could have won Portland, but instead Custer is your winner. Yeah, Allgaier showed a lot of veteran restraint and didn't just dump him, which is rare these days. So shout out to Justin Allgaier. He could have gone back to back. Are they using the same rotors on a GRG 56 car? I bet they're probably using carbon over there, if I had to guess. Napa Racing fan, I really like Portland, other than the messy overtime finish. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the finish. BK, have it your way, says Shaw. I believe Joe Logano will join Harvick in the booth after retiring. I'm guessing 2033. Well, they're getting Kevin Harvick next year, so we know Kevin Harvick's going to be in there for sure. Shaw says, rolling on the floor, laughing my butt off. Shaw says, I can sing the Pinty's theme too. Hey, there you go. Sing the Pinty's theme. BB, why do you think, because we don't get those commercials down here because we don't have them in the States. BB, why do you think Ty Dillon hasn't gotten a win or a top 5 this year? It could be equipment. It could be talent. You don't know. You never know with Ty Dillon. It could be a confidence issue. I don't know. RC said weeks ago, wait till the second half of the season. That 8 car is going to go. We are seeing that now. So that, to me, tells me that they've been in R&D mode, and that's why maybe Kyle Busch has not been as good recently. It might be time to go now. Are you a dirt late model fan? I am a fan. I'm just not as knowledgeable about anything on dirt as I am things on asphalt. So while I appreciate it, I typically don't bring it up because I don't want to sound uneducated of what I'm talking about. But I do enjoy, I pretty much enjoy all dirt racing, including rally. Trip Smith said, yes, OJ and Toothpaste, really? Ty Dillon, kids got to go back to family. The GRG 56 car, I think he's joking about Earth too, by the way, Shaw. GRG 56 was over 2 seconds off the pace. James Essex fan too. Says Trip Smith, the brake rotor problem at Gateway is similar to Pocono. Yeah, I think they need to open up the venting on it a little bit, figure out a way to cool them down better. They're trying hard to get it to a certain temperature where they need to just be worried about cooling it down, in my opinion. T-Van, anyone else find it ironic that you have the chance of a tire and engine flying into the stands, but they red flag the race for 2 hours because of lightning 5 miles an hour away? It is ironic, 100%. Kyle Petty gets my vote, says Robert. Ty Dillon should run the 3 in Xfinity for RCR full time. That would be great. I would love to see that, especially if Yingling came back on board to sponsor him, because that was a good looking Yingling car back in the day. I've got it somewhere. Oh, it's at the very bottom. I don't want to reach him. I don't want to mess up my whole thing to grab that. It's at the very bottom of this stack here. I've got the Yingling car. Ty Dillon should run the 3. Just read that one. Kyle Busch is the GOAT, says Alex from Brazil. For sure, Kyle Busch is definitely the man. Who won the race, says Keith Ricks. KB8, Kyle Busch won the race. Ty Dillon in bad cars, a bad headspace, a chip on his shoulder, says Shaw. Yeah, there could be a lot going on with him. I don't want to speculate, but James Schweitzer saying Keith Risk, Kyle Busch won. OJ and Toothpaste, can't wait for Sonoma next week. My buddy works for Junior Motorsports, number 8. Gave me a garage. Hey, there you go, OJ. That's awesome, dude. So try to get on camera so we can see what's up. Your Cobra says the GOAT. Keith Riss says cool. BB, you being an NC guy, are you an Austin fan? I am an Austin Dillon fan. I'm an RCR fan, so by default, I am a Austin Dillon fan. But I like Austin Dillon I'll probably like Austin Dillon even if he didn't drive for RCR. Where did Stenhouse finish? I don't know. He finished pretty far back because of that wreck, because he couldn't continue. Trip Smith, Kyle, and Junior would be in the booth. Would be good in the booth. I got you, Trip. Keith Riss says Stenhouse, Chrome Diesel. I'm worried that the brake rotor issue will come back at Pocono, turn 1 at a higher speed. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully they take a look at it and get it figured out before then, because Pocono is a much faster turn 1 if something goes wrong. Now Ty Dillon could go solo for years and do it his way. And well, I wish him the best. Frank Sinatra says Shaw. Blunderberger, ever been to Okanichi Speedway on occasion? I used to live in Arbor Hill when I lived in Hillsboro. LOL, says RJ. I drive past, not directly past it, but I drive past Okanichi just about 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah, I have been by it. I need to visit it more recently, since they turned it into, I guess, a walking park. I haven't been there since they turned it into a walking park. So I think that's fair to say. So maybe I'll go check it out. I guess that would make a good video. Everybody else has made a video about it. I guess I should too, since I live pretty close to it. Nobody entertaining the notion of bringing Hickory Motor Speedway back to hosting a cup race. There's several reasons for that. They would need a lot of infrastructure help. Mainly, they would need some functioning bathrooms. So I'll just put it out there. Mark Langren, what happened? But it would be a great track for them to race on. What happened to Ryan Blaney? I think just track position, and the other guys caught up to how much speed he had. Blaney finished 4th, I believe. Yeah, I mean, he was still faster in the race, but I think the other guys caught up to him speed-wise. He just didn't have anything for him once he lost that track position. And if you remember, the reason he got that track position was he did the 2-tire gamble. Ricky is 1 point ahead of Logano in the points, says Jamie Schweitzer. That's pretty crazy. And he would have been way further ahead in the points if he hadn't got taken out in the Austin on Austin crime. I hope the crew member for the 43 has a speedy recovery. Yeah, I hope so too. That was a scary incident for sure. They did say that Austin Dillon's car did not make contact with it, that he bumped into one of his teammates or something like that. Hickory Motor Speedway is a dump now, says Thomas Haywood. Yeah, that's a fact. It's not in the best shape, and I'm not trying to bring them down or anything like that. It's just the way it is. But it does still put on great races. Maybe so. Chef Ramsey messaged you to join the next season of Hell's Kitchen. You would say no. That is correct. I would say no. Would you be cool to see you make a bologna burger for your signature dish? Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm sure he would have a mental meltdown if that happened. If he even made it that far, his head might explode just watching me work in a kitchen. Period. Chrome Diesel Stenhouse is even ahead of Logano in the Winston standings. Says Chrome Diesel. Hey, so there you go. Comments just keep you babbling, BB. I don't want it to end. Says Shy. Oops, sorry, all caps. I don't worry about the all caps. It does. I guess it does bother some other people. I've never cared about it. Bill Hall. They aren't worried about lightning striking fans. They're more worried about the camera operators sitting up high, and lots of grounded wire is at high risk. And I'll take it one step further. They're not concerned about that either. They're concerned about the optics of it looking bad. I'll just throw that out there too. Napa Racing fan, Hickory could have trucks, Xfinity, maybe more individual events. Need to come back for trucks and Xfinity. Yeah, I mean, it would be a cool thing to have happen, but they really would have to spend a lot of money to make it better. Thanks. So did Ryan come back from vacation last week, says Mark Langren. I don't know. I don't know. I'm at high risk, says Keith. There you go. Kyle Busch just outraced Blaney. Oh, so he's Keith Risk might be a cameraman. He's a high risk up there on the towers there. Kyle Busch just outraced Blaney. Says your Cobra. Kyle Busch wins. Woohoo, says Shaw. Cup racing at Hickory about the same as Franklin County Speedway hosts the Cup. I will say this, Trip. Franklin County Speedway is in, and this is saying something if you've been to Hickory. Franklin County Speedway is in way worse shape than Hickory is, by far. Not even close. Kyle Busch 3, JGR 3, says Fender Greg for sure. I forgot I'd started that troll, but I need to pick it back up. I really don't like the non-competitive pit stops like Xfinity at Portland to cut costs and save money. That's the only issue I have with lower series having separate events. I think a lot of people would probably be in that boat as well. I feel two ways about the non-competitive pit stops. It saves money for the lower teams, but then at the same time, you got to train those guys to do pit stops at some point. So maybe no pit stops in the trucks, but I would like to see pit stops, or maybe no pit stops in ARCA, but I would like to see pit stops in truck and Xfinity. Maybe that's where we draw that line. OJ saying, BB, would you have a problem if fixed next year they had Joy, Bill Elliott, Kenny Wallace, Clint Boyer, Michael Waltrip, and Darrell Waltrip in the booth every single race? As long as they had it on two different channels, I think it would work. You would have like the Waltrip stream, and then you would have the Mike Joy stream. I think that's the only way that works. That's a lot of personality in one booth. If they use a small place, they need soft walls and pit roads. Oh yeah, they would have to put in the soft walls and stuff too. No doubt about that. I hadn't even thought about that, dude. Man, we are at the end, says Shaw. Trip Smith says, I know. I'll tell you what, if y'all keep it going, I'll keep it going. We'll go as long as you want to go. Let's see. I'm not married to 1 hour. I've just been cutting them at 1 hour because that's typically when the comments stop coming in. If you guys remember, I used to do 2 and 3. I did 3 hours before. So if you want to keep it going, we'll keep it going. Trip Smith said, I know. Fox Booth, I think it is confirmed for next year that Mike Joy and Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer. Yeah, I think that's going to be the booth for sure. I don't know if it's confirmed or not. I haven't really kept up with that. But I know Kevin Harvick for sure. I know they're not getting rid of Boyer, and I'm pretty sure Mike Joy is coming back. So that seems to be the deal. BB just talk when chat ends, says Shaw. Well, I guess I can do that. I can go in. I can start preparing notes and going off on rants and stuff like that. Fox should have NASCAR. I'd just be a crazy person talking to myself, but that's fine. That's what I was when I started. YouTubers like you and Eric in the booth for each stage of a future Cup race. I tell you what, I would like to see a YouTuber booth since NASCAR has that deal where they show the in-car camera. I would like to see like maybe YouTube gets some of the best YouTubers that do this play-by-play wise. Excuse me. And let them do a stream, and not necessarily YouTubers like me and Eric, but there are YouTubers that call races iRacing and stuff like that. I would like to see some of them get a chance. If BB smoked a bunch of green, would he be fried bologna? Says Keith Risk. I think that would probably be a fair statement to make. I know that only 60,000 sets there are, but it looks good on TV. Says like dislike. Yeah, without a doubt. Make it safe, says Duke Chronic. Feel sorry for you, but you have to get up early tomorrow and go to work, says Mark Langren. Yeah, I do, but I'll get up either way. I typically don't sleep anyway on Sunday nights, Monday mornings, however you want to call them. Best live streams in YouTube, NASCAR category, in my opinion. Thanks, BB. I appreciate you, Jay Santos. Fried green bologna, says Shah. I like the good stuff they do, the duet stuff that they do, says Duke Chronic. I cried at Fried Green Bologna. It was an emotional movie. Just kidding. He was crying because it was so funny. Marty Reed should come back to the booth. Ron Hornish style or Carl Edwards Jr. Says OJ and Toothpaste. Of course, talking about Earth 2. If you're not familiar, Earth 2 is the fictional universe that we talk about. Every once in a while, there's a new person on here that doesn't know about Earth 2, and they're like, what is this idiot talking about? Earth 2 is a real place in our hearts and minds. Napa Racing fan Marty Reed, LOL. RJ says maybe someday we can do a stream together. LOL, says RJ. At some point, I'm sure we'll figure out a way where I can just have people on, but so far, so bad. I haven't figured out how to do all that stuff yet. Okay, so 3 hours is the record. Will we do 24 hours? I have thought about doing a 24-hour one before. But at least a couple hours of it would be me like nodding off and sleeping. So because I'm not going to make a full 24 hours. Non-competitive pit stops at a road course is trash. They are stage breaks of any sort. Yeah, non-competitive pit stops at a road course is really pretty bad. I agree with that. Agree. I think there should be no type of breaks in a road course race. There's no doubt about that. Agree, other than an actual caution. Agree, Bo, says Napa Racing fan. I should see all races, maybe, says Shah. Excited about Sonoma. No stage cautions. Will be interesting to see the strategies. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to just no stage cautions. That'd be a cool live YouTube. That's official, says Duke Chronic. That would be cool. Shah says call. I should call all the races, says Shaw. I got you now. Thomas Haywood, you would think NC would have better grassroots tracks, but we don't. We're mostly in bad shape, dirt and asphalt. I think that's a pretty fair statement. I think probably one of the nicer North Carolina tracks I've been to is probably Ace Speedway, and I am affiliated with them, but it is actually one of the nicer tracks I've been to. So that's probably off the top of my head in North Carolina as far as a short track goes. Probably one of the nicest and cleanest ones around, at least around where I'm at. I need to visit a few more. I know Tri-County got redid, so I think Tri-County is really nice right now, too. I'm in 60,000 seats. I like this. Like, yeah, I knew what you meant. 60,000 seating capacity. Here in the land of the frozen chosen, it is still 85, says Mark Langren. That's a nice temperature. Do you think Suarez gets a top 3 at Sonoma? Trackhouse is pretty good at the road courses, so I would say that's probably a pretty fair bet. I wouldn't bet against it. I'll put it that way. I will hold the camera and directors to account. I will have a button for cut, twos, and overrides. Says Shah. Hey, there you go. He's going to direct it and call it, commentate on it. Where are you watching the race live when Juan Pablo Montoya hit the jet dryer? What was your reaction? I was watching it live, and my immediate reaction once I saw everybody was okay, was to just straight up bust out laughing because it was the funniest thing I thought I'd ever seen. And then when it came out that some people still don't even acknowledge this, but when it came out that his steering broke, it was even funnier because people still thought that he just like drove into it because he wasn't paying attention to something. How about a figure 8 track in Cup race without a bridge, preventing collisions? It would be entertainment. That's what NASCAR is looking for. BB, we will wean you into 24 hours. Says Shaw. OJ and toothpaste. That was crazy. Talking about the jet dryer. How many race cars does it take to crash into a jet dryer? OJ and toothpaste. Just one. Just one. Napa Racing Fan 29. Will NASCAR be a success at the 24 Hours of Le Mans next week? Can it run 24 hours? And is it a good promotion? I think it is good promotion and marketing for NASCAR. I will say that is good. Will it make it the full 24 hours? That is what I'm concerned about. That I don't know about. Chrome Diesel. It's annoying. Instead of being named Gateway, it has to be Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Yeah, there's too many ways in it. You got Raceway and Gateway. Even if it was Speedway, it would still be too many ways. So it's just a lot of way in there. Chrome. Just one with Montoya driving it. Says Mark Langren. Is Kyle Busch now the favorite to win the championship? That run today was pretty dominant. He did have a pretty dominant run. And according to somebody earlier, they said, Richard Childress said, watch out the second half of the season because that's when the 8 is really going to come to life. So if that's the case, then hold on to your butts because he might be fixing to take off here. I just call it Gateway myself. That's what I call it. Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway is too much of a mouthful. Yeah, it's kind of like back in the day, they had the baseball team, the Anaheim Angels of wherever they were located at that time. Or was it the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or something like that? Yeah, that was another dumb one. I would share BB on social media, but I have no idea what that means. Social media, I'm just on Twitter. Well, I'm on all of them, I guess I should say, but I only look at Twitter. Twitter and YouTube's. Oh my God, that was a wild Montoya hit. Jet dryer, says Shy. Yeah, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. No way on GRG 56, Garage 56. Good luck. For making it 12 hours and probably down a lap every 10 laps. They're definitely going to be off the pace, first off. But yeah, hopefully they can make it the full 24 hours at Le Mans. What are your thoughts on Chicago? I think it's going to be bad. I don't know if it's going to be a lot of passing. That's my only real concern about it. Everybody that's down there says it's in a safer area of Chicago, but I don't know what that means. Because like I said, if you live in an area with a whole lot of crime, you get used to it, and other people might not be used to that. So safer is a relative term. But I'm not worried about that either. I'm more worried about, is the race going to suck because there will be no passing? That would be my bigger concern. I'm excited for Le Mans. It will make it. No white flag for off speed and all that. Data goes to HMS, and HMS will have to share that data with everybody. Jimmy Johnson, the Toyota man, being a part of that team sort of shuts down all the Toyota talk too, because I know Toyota was, at least Denny Hamlin was super surprising, super mouthy about that. Not jinx, but just facts on technology, says Mark Langren. I think Star Wars pudding race with Tuscans shooting pods, says Shaw. So there you go. We get the Star Wars pod racer NASCAR film that we've all been dreaming of. NASCAR will have a cross-country race, a cannonball run style from New York City to L.A. In Earth 2. Says Jamie Schweitzer. I like it. I like the old cannonball run. Well, this season has turned into tune it in for the last 50 laps. I agree, E. Damon. Eternal, the terrible racing and stage cautions that start a new race, basically save 4 hours. Hey, I don't disagree with you. Chicago residents already hate NASCAR street race. It won't be good. I think that's probably a fair statement to make. Yes, Ace Speedway is the nicest. If anyone can go to Motor Mile in Virginia, it is really nice too. Yeah, Thomas Haywood, you're right. Motor Mile is really nice. And Dominion Raceway, they used to call it Old Dominion, but Dominion Raceway up off 85, I guess it's in Dominion, Virginia, Thornburg, Virginia, maybe. But it's up there. That's a really nice one too. Mark Langren, the Jinx was for us saying the same thing, says RJ. They killed the 51 in that area. last weekend, says Mark Langren. Cancel Chicago and go to North Wilkesboro, says Duke Chronic. Talking about next year, give North Wilkesboro a points paying race. IndyCar was fun to watch on the streets of Detroit. I don't know about NASCAR on the streets, but IndyCar does a fantastic job on street courses, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I saw a lot of people go sort of both ways on the IndyCar race. I guess I'll have to go back and watch it. Did they ever show video from the Jones crew member deal? They didn't show the video, but they did come back and say they looked at the video and said the 3 car never touched that guy, and they actually ran into a crew member, and that's how he went down and got hurt or whatever. So they did communicate that. NASCAR should totally do a cannonball run, says Shaw. Kurt Busch participated in a gumball run back when he had the old Ford GT, the retro GT that Ford came back out with. Pod Racer game on PS was fun, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, that was one of the better Star Wars games for sure. Okay, RJ, missed your statement, says Mark Langren. So you're jinxed. You're both jinxed. Duke Chronic, damn rights. Woohoo, says Shaw. Does anyone think Kurt Busch will come back? Every team he went to got better. I mean, that's a fair statement. I hope he can get. I hope he can get back, and he gets back safely. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything. Chicago will be tricky. The slow turns, you have to lock the doors, says Duke Chronic. Puff Puff Pass, says Duke Chronic. It might be bad in Chicago, says Duke Chronic. Shaw says 3 Chi, whatever that is. I think those are gummies for the most part, from the research I've done. Trying to buy a 3 Chi t-shirt, but they wanted too much money for it, so I didn't buy it. Shaw, do you share, says Mark Langren. Bo Darville says, did you see the number 48 in Xfinity with the old school 3-wheel motion? Look like Dr. Dre out there rolling in my 6'4". Bo Darville, the bandit with that one. Good comment, bandit. Always Mark Langren, so Shaw always shares, so there you go. OJ and Toothpaste, were you watching the Talladega race 2009, Brad versus Carl Edwards? I was watching that live, and I still remember Brad Keselowski's dad, Bob Keselowski, basically telling Carl Edwards if he was going to race like that, he was going to get out there and take him out every single race. Chicago, like certain Nashville residents with the fairgrounds, will complain about the noise, not just from the race, but concerts as well. This is Napa Race fans, so there you go. It looks like it's going to be like a sort of a citywide issue. The Disney track NASCAR once had is now a parking lot, which really stinks, Jamie Schweitzer, because the one time I visited Disney, they were actually building that, and they didn't finish it. But it did have one race, and after that, it was, or 1 or 2 races, and after that, it was kaput. But what a waste of money. What a waste of a venue. A race at Disney, man. Just think about how big that could be nowadays. I hope the street race, itself is good, and NASCAR looks at it for another city. But I feel like logistically and politically, it won't be renewed in Chicago. I agree with you 100% on that. I hope the race is good. I don't think Chicago wants the race. I think that's the bigger issue. And so I think hopefully it does well, and they do a street race somewhere else if the racing is good. Let's see. What did you think of the Joey versus Kyle Busch fight in Vegas in 2017? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I'm surprised anybody drew blood. That's all I'll say about it there. Edwards also took out Keselowski at Atlanta and Gateway in Xfinity in 2010. Carl Edwards went through a badass phase. About 2 years, he was not friendly cousin Carl. And then he came back and just was regular again, in my opinion. Even Carl Edwards fans have said that. When a big event comes to downtown, a lot of people get mad, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. Neighbor was growing under contract inside his small patch of corn, says Mark Langren. I have seen almost every great NASCAR moment on TV when it happened for 40 years. Being a poor Canadian sucks, says Shaw. Yeah, I feel you. Elite, what's up, man? I really hope Kyle Busch reaches 76 career wins with RCR. I feel like that moment would be bigger than when Gordon did it. That's probably a pretty fair statement because I think just that RCR fan base, they've been so desperate for something to cheer about for a long time. The biggest moment that they've really had was that Daytona 500 with Austin Dillon. But, man, if they could just even be in championship, and I'm not taking anything away from Austin Dillon. I think he's a solid driver, but he's no Kyle Busch, and very few people are. So, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from him. But when you have a driver like that, you get there and you're really excited. And I think a lot of RCR fans were really excited about Tyler Reddick, too. And that's why it hurt so bad when he left. So I think just having Kyle Busch there is exciting, and every milestone that Kyle Busch hits with RCR, I think is going to be celebrated pretty significantly. So yeah, I'm with you, Elite. I think that's going to be a big deal for sure. OJ and Toothpaste Bologna Burger. What's better, Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings? I lean toward Buffalo Wild Wings because they have more flavors, and the sauces that they have a sauce there called Thai curry. Thai curry is pretty much my go-to. I even bought a bottle of it to keep at the house. As an adult, if you go back to Disney, you have to go to Epcot and drink around the world. Says say Kyle. Yeah, that's a real big thing. So maybe my next trip to Daytona, I'll have a layover in Orlando and see how it goes. I don't know if I've got enough money to do that, but we'll see. God bless TV, says Shaw. OJ and Toothpaste, I can't remember what I did this morning. LOL, says Thomas Haywood. I remember Bob getting mad, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, Bob Keselowski was real warm under the collar. Carl making Kenseth flinch was legendary. Yeah, that was such a bully move. That was during his BA phase that I was talking about earlier. Shaw, me too. A lot of Canadians, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, what's up, Canada? There's definitely a lot of Canadians always on the stream, so I appreciate you guys. Had a dude from Brazil here today too. So what's up, Brazil? Always good to have everybody on here. No one ever speaks of my old Nazareth Speedway in Nazareth. My family attended races there some 50 years ago. There's still a drag strip there. Yeah, I think Nazareth Speedway is in bad shape, if I remember correctly. I saw some pictures of it the other day. Most of you commenting need to become channel members. Just saying, says Beast. If you want to, I'm not gonna do that deal. RCR, worst thing I want to say. I tell you what though, I do need to do this deal because I always forget to do it. We do have merch, and this is the link to the merch store. Let's see here. There you go. So if you want to check out the merch, there you go. We got the Actions Hypocritical shirt. We got the just regular Bologna Burger shirts. And I think we're going to have a drop this week of a different Bologna Burger shirt. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, most of you commenting need to, I just read that one. Let's see. Says Shaw. RJ says, I see NASCAR going back to Road America personally. Yeah, Road America. I hope they get another date if the Chicago deal falls through. Hosers Unite, says Shaw. A bunch of hose hounds from Canada. Let's see. Terrible accent. Sorry about that. Mark Langren, being from Minnesota, am I considered a partial Canadian? There you go. That's a fair question. Very, very close borders, very similar weather, I would say. Like I want a 24-hour NASCAR race, one car to represent each team with 3 drivers to represent said team. That would be pretty much a really cool deal. I wonder if they would ever think about doing something like that. You think Reddick feels any regret watching his old car have a better year than him? I don't know, because I feel like Tyler Reddick, he bought into the culture of 2311 as much as he did into the performance. So I don't know that he necessarily regrets it. But I know RCR fans are happy they got Kyle Busch if they had to lose Tyler Reddick. So I don't know. That would be a question you would have to ask him. I don't know. I think he's still bought into the long run future of 2311. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out for him. Has Kyle Larson ever got in a fight in Cup or Xfinity? Says OJ and Toothpaste. No. He's been very adamant that he is 5 foot tall and he is not built to even play sports or fight anybody. He said he wouldn't even play basketball with Austin Dillon's pickup basketball league because he's too small and he didn't want to get hurt. So he is not a fighter. I will say that. I can confidently say I don't think he's ever gotten into a fight in his life. Like dislike, great idea, says Thomas Haywood. Mario track, says Mark Langren. So there you go. The Rainbow Road. Somebody set up the old Rainbow Road. That would be that was always my most challenging track. I hated that track. I'm still to this day not good at it. Nazareth was on IndyCar Racing too by iRacing folks. Hey, there you go. Nazareth is on iRacing. So there you go. RJ, let's do Road America. Best track food. Yeah, so hopefully if they do bring back Road America for the Cup Series, that's one that I do want to go to and check out because I am a big track food person. BB, one time in a stream, that's okay. Just don't go NASCAR on us commercial every 10 minutes, LOL. Yeah, so actually I forgot to put it at the beginning. I try to put it at the beginning, and then I just try to throw it one time in here as it makes sense. Dawson Fair, you deleted your comment, man. I was trying to read it. why do you wear a hat? Why do you like wear a hat? I don't know, because I don't know. I just like wearing hats, dude. It's not because I'm bald or anything like that. Some people have asked that. Are you bald underneath the hat? If so, this is an aggressive skullet, right? So no, I just wear hats. I don't know. Keep the sun out of my eyes at the racetrack for the most part. Mark Langren, ever been to St. Olaf? I have not been to St. Olaf, but he's a character in Frozen, I think. Dawson Fair, why do you well, I just read that one. Road America getting dumped was wrong. I don't live in Wisconsin, but I felt as bad as those fans when it did. I got dropped from the Cup schedule. My favorite road course, personally, I think it's a lot of people's favorite. Napa race fan with that one. I think it's a lot of people's favorite track, road course wise. Drivers like jockeys a lot, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, most drivers are pretty small for the most part. I was surprised that Noah Gregson is as small as he is. He looks chubbier on camera, but when I actually saw him in person at North Wilkesboro, I was like, man, he's way skinnier in real life. Camera's not being favorable to him. RJ Schooler Town, says Mark Langren. Dawson Fair, you don't wear a hat, says Shy. Mark Langren Town, obviously, says RJ. How do you miss Kentucky Speedway, says OJ. I do miss Kentucky Speedway. I wish they would. I wish it would have worked out over there. But they got a pretty good road course over there in Kentucky that might be a good one-off to attempt for Cup. Xfinity is still racing at Road of America this year. Indy cars there in 2 weeks. Xfinity still races there. I'm talking about Cup, but yeah, I'm with you, Napa racing fan. It's hard for me to justify going out of town for an Xfinity Series race because typically they fall on races where I'm actually making money doing short track stuff. That's what I meant by that. Sorry. Kyle Busch's car passed the post-race inspection. It's official. Kyle Busch is your winner. Kyle Busch, Mark Langren says yes. I delete if I spell bad, says Duke Chronic. Oh, I got you. I would delete every comment I ever made because I spell terribly. OJ and Toothpaste, it's funny. Months ago, Earth 2 took off and it's still alive. Love it. I bet it confuses people that are new. LOL. Yeah, 100% it confuses people that are new because we're over there talking about BJ McLeod and Ty Dillon fighting for the championship. And people have got to be like, dude, what is this dude talking about? Has he had too much 3-chai? When was BB ever bald, says RJ and Vance. So back in the day on the channel, there have been people saying that like my beard was fake and that like I'm bald up underneath the hat. Like people just like to throw stuff out there. I think just having fun. Hats keep the sun out of your eyes, says Shaw. Road America, and I'm not saying that's what they were saying. I'm just saying in the past that's what people have said. So it's always something going on. It's pretty funny. YouTube's a good time. Twitter's a good time. Sometimes. No, it's not. Twitter sucks. Our Road America is a great track and lots of camping. Says Duke Chronic. I'm definitely down for the camping. I'm trying to get a vehicle that is set up for camping. So hopefully we get that going here in the future. RJ, St. Olaf, Minnesota is the town. Rose, that's what I remembered it from. Rose from the Golden Girls is real town. Says RJ. That's what I recognize the name, but I was like, why do I recognize that name? Vintage May, July, and September. PCA Memorial and Labor Day, says Mark Langren. A cap is like underwear, just natural wear, says Shaw. Only thing I don't like about Road America is how long it takes to run a caution lap. I wish it would come back through for sure, says Seikaya. I think eventually they might get another Cup date. I'm hoping. Will the 2-car driver get suspended? He intentionally jumped the 3-car, says Mr. Monk. I threw that poll up earlier, and 78% said no. But we're going to have to wait till they plug in the computers and see his SMT data and all that good stuff. So it'll be up to NASCAR, but it's going to be interesting because I know a lot of Chase Elliott fans are going to be like, he needs to be suspended because their guy was suspended. A lot of Bubba Wallace fans are going to be like, he needs to be suspended because their guy was suspended. Kyle Larson is the same height as Mark Martin. Yeah, Mark Martin lifted weights and stuff. Kyle Larson, I don't think he does not to the extent that Mark Martin, who still lifts weights, by the way. Cup to Portland. I don't hate the idea. Don't necessarily love it. Wouldn't mind a Pacific Northwest having a race though, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I agree. I think Portland, Seattle area definitely needs a Cup race, in my opinion. I think Seattle area needs a Cup race, says Jamie Schweitzer. Hey, so everybody's at least so far, everybody's agreeing with that. BB is that is totally a fake beard. I don't care. LOL, says Shaw. Yeah. like I tell people all the time, if this was a fake beard, I definitely wouldn't put that much white in it. So that's where I stand on the fake beard talk. But to be fair, when that guy said I had a fake beard, I had a beard like down to my chest. So it is what it is. BB, your thoughts on this Pride NASCAR month stuff? I don't care. Like I've never really cared about it. Like I don't know. It's just become political now. So and I don't do politics. But I've always done the same thing. Like if you're in a bar, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about politics. So that's just sort of where I'm at with it. I don't care who you sleep with, but I also don't want to know about it either. Typically, but that's how I handle things in real life. Even my closest friends, I really don't want to hear about their love life. If they're having a relationship problem and they want my advice, I'll give them that. But I really don't want to hear about who they're sleeping with and what they're doing with them. That's just me, though. It is what it is. BB, the Samson of Cup, that's where he gets his power, says E. Damon Racing. First time I drove Road America, that was May 77. First time I raced was July 87. First time I attended was June 58. Didn't see much though, says Mark Langren. I understand where you're coming from on that last one. I am proud to like NASCAR, says Shaw. Let's see here. If you were, what did I miss here? I missed something. NASCAR, William Byron is second in points now. I'm shocked they're not bringing him to R&D. Get the last 40 points they missed. So say Kyle, not Cal. So there you go. We have gone a little while since William Byron has been penalized. They need to get the other 40 points from him, I reckon. If you were starting a Cup team and you can have any two drivers from Xfinity and any two from trucks, who do you get your 4-car team? Who do you get for your 4-car team? So from trucks, I'm going to take Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar. From Xfinity, I'm going to take Austin Hill. And I'm just going to say Josh Berry's already gone because he's going to the 4-car. So I'm saying he's already gone. If not, I would take him. But Sammy Smith, I would probably take Sammy Smith. So that would be my 4 right there. Take that to your brains. All of it, says Shaw. Chase Elliott fans are not crazy. They just want one finger. Says Duke Chronic. Shaw says all. OJ and Toothpaste. Mark Martin listens to Gucci Man and Dr. Dre. Beards good, says Duke Chronic. Did you watch Alex Palou win the IndyCar race at Detroit? I didn't see that one. Missed it for sure. Palou is very good. Yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about how good he is. The beard is real. The glasses are fake. Yeah, the glasses are fake. Now I can't see anything. Let's see here. Duke Chronic said that's cool, man. Estep had a update comment on the video saying Austin Dillon said he was wrecked intentionally by Austin Cindric and should be suspended. Thoughts? I don't think he should be suspended. You're going to have to go to the data and see who turned, if they both turned, if it was a racing incident. So I didn't even know it had taken off that far. I totally made a joke about it. I didn't think it would actually be legit, but I guess we really are going to have to see the SMT data now because I joked on Twitter. I was like, golly, man, is Denny Hamlin going to show the SMT data from Austin Cindric? But I guess we are probably going to be looking at SMT data this week as well. Let's see. Laguna Seca would be a curious addition, especially them getting through the corkscrew. Yeah, there was that 100% blind turn at Laguna Seca when you're going downhill. That would be interesting for them to navigate. Willie B was better than the 5 a day, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, he definitely was for most of the race, but then at the end of the race, it looks like the 5-car found something. I love everyone equally, but I hate equally too. But I think it out. You suck, you cool, maybe you, meh. Says Shaw. You're gonna regret not taking Zane Smith. Maybe. I'm skewing younger because I know one of those younger guys is gonna hit. But yeah, Zane Smith's definitely a guy you got to take too. He's another one I actually assume is already going to Cup. I assume he's going to the 21, but I have no data or facts behind that. Who's your Mount Rushmore of Cup drivers, BB? So we'll see. Mount Rushmore is what, 4 dudes? Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt. I don't know because these are only guys I've watched. So I'd say Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Johnson. I feel like you got to respect those titles, even though they were all different ways of getting them. But I just feel like at the end of the day, you got to respect those titles, and those were just the best guys I ever watched. I would have to sit down and really look at my best five. A lot of people are going to be mad I didn't put Cale Yarborough, David Pearson, whoever. Throw anybody you want to in there. But I didn't necessarily see those guys race. Napa going Mount Rushmore for me would be no particular order. Petty Johnson, Gordon, and Pearson. So he got Pearson instead of one of the guys I picked. And he's going with 5. Duke Chronic agreed, BB. So what is your honest opinion of NASCAR this year? I think the racing on track sometimes has been really bad, but I think there's been so much drama that it's been covered up, some of the bad racing. They still need to fix the short track package, in my opinion. Duke Chronic, Carson is cup bound. Yeah, I think Hocevar is cup bound too. The YouTuber that brought Team Penske to their knees would make a great headline. Says, I don't think I did that because that tweet didn't even get that much traction, but it was 100% a joke. The Dylan Centric issue, it was Ross Chastain's fault. Beast, finally, something I think everybody can agree with. Ross Chastain is definitely who wrecked both of them. Senior Petty Allison, Junior Johnson says Shaw. I like those. Those are definitely good picks. Lee Petty, I would actually put Lee Petty on there too. You have to give him honorable mention. He was actually really one of the bigger ones, but because NASCAR was so new and he was older when NASCAR got big, he never gets really gets talked about a lot either. There's so many, man. Oh man, there's just so many. I could literally go on for days. I would have to do it by era, really. Mark Langren, if you're going to park everyone who intentionally wrecks someone, you're going to have to use your best 23 results for the 26 races. I'm with you on that, Mark Langren. That's 100% accurate. Petty, Earnhardt, Johnson, and Gordon for me. So there you go. That's sort of where I fell on it as well. My Mount Rushmore of drivers: Ty Dillon, Casey Atwood, Ken Schrader, and JJ Yaley. No Jimmy Means, OJ and Toothpaste. No Jimmy Means on Earth too. Let's see. Dale, Richard, Davey, and Pearson, says Duke Chronic. Petty, Pearson, Earnhardt, and Gordon. Bo Darville. That's probably the one that most of the people I think would probably agree with the most. Petty, Pearson, Earnhardt, and Gordon. From my generation, I think that's probably the best ones they saw. Dale, Richard, Davey, and Pearson. I like the Davey pick in there, Duke. Junior Johnson built NASCAR, says Shaw. I feel like Richard Petty. I feel like the Petties, Junior Johnson. I feel like, and definitely Earnhardt and Gordon. I feel like all those guys definitely built it up quite a bit. I miss Dale Earnhardt to you. I definitely miss him, Dawson. No doubt about it. Earth One, Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, Cale, and Jeffrey Gordon. I like that lineup too. Junior was the ultimate badass racer. He was just like the ultimate blue collar guy to me. And the fact that he was good just made it even better. We all agree Petty and Earnhardt. I think for the most part, Bill Elliott. So a lot of Bill Elliott fans would definitely put him on there. Would it be better for NASCAR to go to Cup racing in the Pacific Northwest, Montreal, Canadian Tire, or Mexico City? They've already gone to Mexico City, so maybe we try it one time in Montreal at Canadian Tire. One of those. So I don't know. I definitely think Canada needs a race. Mexico City's had one. Let's try one in Canada. Why not let Cup use the Xfinity cars for short tracks? I wish they would, E. Damon. They have plenty. Not the first time Cup has used 2 cars. Save the short tracks and viewership. I like your idea. I feel like NASCAR is so proud of this new car that they want to prove a point that it can race anywhere. That they're just married to that and they've dug their feet in. Who's your Mount Rushmore on Earth 2? I don't know, man. Jimmy Means, Ty Dillon, Slick Johnson, and Dave Marcus. I don't know. And even though Dave Marcus had a good career, I'm just remembering his later years. Throw Dick Trickle in there just because of his name, although I think Dick Trickle was a great race car driver. And if you look at Dick Trickle's stats in Cup, he wasn't that bad. People just remember him for his last few years. You need to pick by era for best drivers, says Mark Langren. I agree with that 100%. I want to do NASCAR history. Let's do it, baby, says Junior Johnson. Best ever. Dispute me. I got 200 wins and 7 championships to your 0, saying that Richard Petty was better, but that's just me. Can you imagine the rivalry we missed with Davey and Richard Petty only got caught cheating once? I'll throw that in there too. Can you imagine the rivalry we missed with Davey versus Gordon in the mid to late 90s? Yeah, I would throw Tim Richmond in that mix as well. Is Harrison Burton's contract up at the end of the season? If so, who are the potential drivers? Zane Smith is the one that everybody's putting in there. Petty was the foil to Junior Johnson. I got to have good versus bad, says Shaw. Any thoughts of what make Chevrolet will go to once the Camaros are retired in the near future? I have no clue. A lot of people are talking about Chevelle, but I don't know. That's just a big rumor. OJ and Toothpaste, were you watching the 2001 Daytona? I was. And was your reaction after the race, and how did you find out about Dale? I knew once the window net didn't go down and once Ken Schrader was like waving people in, I just knew it was going to be a bad deal. I was 6 years old and didn't understand what was going on. Yeah, I was. I just knew it was a bad deal. I didn't know. I just knew he was hurt. But once it got more, I don't know. You could just tell the vibe from everybody's voice. I kind of knew what had happened, but was hoping for the best. I guess that was my initial reaction. A badass Mount Rushmore would be Tim Richmond, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, if you're going with most personality, without a doubt, Tim Richmond and Noah Gragson have to be on that. Darrell Waltrip when he was younger, too. Laughing my ass off. Earth 2, Mount Rushmore, says OJ and Toothpaste. Napa Racing Fan 927 says Corvette ? Corvette apparently is going to become its own brand. So I don't know if that's even going to be associated with Chevrolet anymore. It's just going to be Corvette by GM, I think, is an article. I posted the article a long time ago on the, how you can do the posts on the page. Do you think Carson Hocevar will make any Cup Series starts this year? Yeah, he's scheduled to make a few more. He made the one today, and he's got a few more that he's going to make, if I'm not mistaken. I think he'll be in the Spire car again. Dick Trickle, I've never seen him race, but oh my God, I love that name. Laughing my ass off, says Shaw. Tim, Dick, Harry, Jr., Johnson, says Duke Chronic. What if Mount Rushmore, Richmond, Kowicki, Davey Allison, Dale Sr.? That's definitely the what if Mount Rushmore. I agree with that, 927. You got to throw Adam Petty. Kenny Irwin, another one I might throw in there. Ty Dillon might get the 21, though, not Zane, says OJ and Toothpaste. I mean, it's a fair, they're tit for tat on Earth 2. They're just swapping good talent with good talent there. MRN played an old race today, and Adam Petty interview came up, all in the fields. Duke Chronic, that's, yeah, it is crazy, man. Dang, I'm older than BB, says Shaw. Oh, man. RJ says, I'm 31, LOL. Did you watch the 2003 Darlington finish live? Ricky Craven, 30, Kurt Busch, 97. Yeah, that was, to me, that was the greatest all-time finish that I ever watched. It was just awesome. OJ and Toothpaste, that's definitely probably, to me, still the best Darlington finish. I was about 19 when Dale died, says Shaw. E. Damon Racing, Dale and Rusty really made the sport. I took a hiatus after the crash till 2013. The Johnson years were sleepers, says E. Damon. So Shaw, if you were about 19, then we're probably about the same age then, Shaw. Mark Langren, Dale and Rusty really made the sport. Yeah, that was a good rivalry too before the Gordon Dale thing took off. I took a hiatus after the crash till 2013. The Johnson years were sleepers. Yeah, so that's the argument I've always made about Jimmy Johnson. He was so good that he actually probably ran some people off. But that's not his fault. It's not his job not to be bad to entertain. When they didn't show him getting put in the ambulance, you knew it was bad, says Mark. Yeah, definitely. And then the ambulance driving away slow was the also telltale sign. NASCAR Mount Rushmore on Earth 2 should have drivers that were indefinitely suspended. Jeremy Mayfield comes to mind off the top of my head. Rob Moroso would have to be another one. Not for that one, but for the what ifs. Mount Rushmore, Darrell Waltrip maybe. Yeah, Darrell Waltrip doesn't get a lot of run. He probably should though. He was so hated because of his mouth, but also he performed and had a lot of results. Which year did Adam Petty die? I want to say Adam Petty was either 99 or 2000, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. Shaw, I got you beat. I was 31. Dawson Fair, May 12th, 2000. So 2000. I knew it was either late 99 or early 2000. So 2000 is the year for Adam Petty. Mark Langren just turned 50. Not a big math age care. Says Shy. OJ and toothpaste. I still like going back and watching the end of the 1998 Daytona 500 finish. So cool. Everyone came out. Congrats, Dale, everyone. Yeah, that 98 finish was definitely cool. Adam Petty made his only Cup start at Texas in 2000. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in a Monte Carlo, if I'm not mistaken, instead of a Dodge. A second second black birthday. Hope it was a good one, says Mark Langren. Clifford and Davey Allison for the what if. Oh, yeah, that's I forgot about Clifford. Yeah, definitely add him to it. What a bad year for drivers. Very sad, says Shaw. Yeah, that was a bad run. Probably like 90, because we lost. What year did we lose Neil Bonnet? From Neil Bonnet on until about 2001 was a bad run. Are you glad Kyle Busch won today? Oh, for sure. Anytime anybody named Kyle wins, that's definitely a good day. So when does SRX start? It's either next weekend or the weekend after that, I want to say. I think it's usually a week after Le Mans or maybe 2 weeks after Le Mans. So maybe 3 weeks. SRX starts in July. So about 3 weeks after Le Mans, I guess. RJ, Neil Bonnet passed in 94. Yeah, so from like 94 until about 2001, NASCAR had a bad run. What day did Clifford pass? I don't know about that one, Dawson. Thanks, Napa. 92 for Neil. Says like dislike. When did you first find out about Kyle Larson? I met him when I was 7 years old at Cycle Land Speedway near Gridley, California. Everyone knew he was the real deal. I knew about him, I guess, in ARCA, and the only reason I knew about him is because I was, hey, look, there's another dude named Kyle, so I'm going to pull for him. So that was pretty much my go-to. RCR, Richard Petty, whoever Richard Petty is associated with, I pull for those two teams, and then anybody named Kyle. So Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Kyle Weatherman, Kyle Sieg. All those are your top four drivers in every series. Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kyle Weatherman, and Kyle Sieg. I'm scared for Kyle, says Duke Chronic, and you can switch Larson and Kyle Busch as to whoever won the last race as to who's the best, because I think they're both elite talents. Duke Chronic says I'm scared for Kyle. Shaw says that's what I chant. Bushy, bushy, bush. Says Shaw. My guys were Dale and Greg Moore. Did you ever meet Dale Earnhardt before he passed in 2001? I never met him face to face. But I think I've told the story before. I went to RCR to look at the cars. It was whatever year they were switching. I was a little kid. I don't even know I remember this, but they were switching over from the Wrangler cars to the Silver Goodwrench cars. So that should give you the date there. And I signed the little thing saying that I had been there. And in the mail, and this is when I become a Dale Earnhardt fan and an RCR fan, in the mail, he sends me this postcard autographed, and I had no idea they were going to do that. So it was definitely really cool. So let's see here. NASCAR, let's see. Where was I at here? Kyle for the champ. Time, #time, says Shaw. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a good year for either Kyle, I think. I think either Kyle has a good chance at winning this. Clash at the Coliseum, I believe, has run its course. It's rough for the teams to go to L.A., then back to Charlotte, then to Daytona, then back to the West Coast again. Yeah, that's definitely NASCAR should have thought that out a little bit better. Maybe have both of the West Coast races and then come back and do the Daytona 500. The Daytona 500 doesn't always have to be the first race of the year. For many years, it wasn't the first race of the year. Riverside was, so that would keep into that trend of doing two races in California and then coming and doing the Daytona 500. NASCAR should not mind having posted celebrating Pride Month. Gummies is a small thing, says Gentry Debbie. Yeah, I mean, every corporation is going after money when they do the Pride Month thing. But my thing with that is I wouldn't get too excited that a corporation posts about Pride Month, because they're really not doing it because they support the community. They're doing it because they want money. So that's always been my thing with it. That's why all these companies that do that, if you go look at their Saudi Arabia accounts and stuff like that on social media, all those accounts always stay the same. They don't have any rainbow anything on them. So that's why I tell you it's just a corporate money grab. So that's why I never say anything about it, because that's essentially what it is. And thus I keep my mouth shut about it, because if I say anything about it, I'm going to get labeled, the way people get labeled for saying that, even though that has nothing to do with it. So it is what it is. Shah says 3-car. E-Damon Racing. Logano is my guy, but Kyle Larson is the purest driver out there. Doesn't matter what he's in. He just needs a security guard. That's probably a fair statement, E-Damon. That's so cool, man. Says Duke Chronic, 1988. OJ and Toothpaste. Talking about what year RCR was switching over. Do you think Ty Dillon will win a championship in the next 5 years? Earth 2, he's a lock for the championship this year. BB, are you tired yet? LOL says Shot. I'm going to keep rolling as long as you guys roll. Please, no moke, says Mark Langren. 2 Kyles and 2 B surnames. KB has 2 tickets. Would you see the Busch Classic remain NASCAR sanctioned non-points race? Yeah, I like it as a non-points race, but switch to being a demolition derby. It might as well have been that the other year. Not only Riverside was the first race of the year, but it took 2 to 3 weeks before the Daytona 500 did. Hey, so there you go. That's probably not a bad idea either. Sammy Smith, Cup champion 2035, says Dawson Fair. I like the way you think, Dawson Fair. Sammy Smith is a great talent. He used to race for Nelson Motorsports, and those guys, they know the real deal when they see it, and they said he was the real deal even when he was running late models. Duke Chronic is right. 94 for Neil's passing, says like dislike. So there you go. A 94 for Mr. Bonnet in the Country Time Lemonade. 31, I think. Have you tried getting one thing straight? I'm getting tired of these right hooks this year. The incredibly dangerous, and I don't understand why drivers keep Elliott and now Cindric. My gosh, please stop. Yeah, so like I said, we'll have to wait for the SMT data and stuff like that. But yeah, if you I can't believe Austin Cindric, if it's true, I can't believe like right after Chase Elliott gets suspended for it, Austin Cindric would do something like that too. But as of right now, it looks like it might be intentional. So I don't know. Valentine's Day at like dislike says Duke Chronic. By the way, Moulton, congratulations on Cole Custer. We're glad you're here, and congratulations on Cole Custer winning. We've been talking about it all through the chat. We're surprised you didn't show up, man. We wanted to see you celebrate Cole Custer today, dude. Disappointed with Corey LaJoie's run, to be honest. Corey was outrunning him before he had the brake failure, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing for Carson Hocevar, but he wasn't the only one that had brake failure. So I hate the comparison because I want both of those guys to succeed in Cup. So I don't think we necessarily need to make a comparison. I think we can just say Carson Hocevar had a good run, and unfortunately Hendrick was off with the setup for Corey LaJoie. But I feel like Corey LaJoie stuck with it and made the most of it throughout his day. Thoughts on Xfinity coming to Sonoma this year and who wins? Custer back to back. Cole Custer is a pretty good road course racer, so that's not out of the question. I actually like that pick. I got to see that last IMSA race at Riverside, says Mark Langren. That's pretty cool, man. I wish they had never torn down Riverside. Rowdy fan for life, says Jenna Allison. Rowdy fan, indeed. A good day to be a Rowdy fan today, for sure, Jenna. Or is it Gina? I'm going to go Gina. It looks like Gina. So I think I've been saying it wrong. So Gina. Napa Racing fan, will there be a Cup race in the future where Chandler, Sammy, and Zane all battle for the win? Oh, we'll just call them the Smiths on that day. Band the Smiths from way back in the day, just in case nobody knows what I'm talking about. Thoughts on Cole Custer win at Portland yesterday? I thought it was good. Cole Custer needed that win, and he's finally got some positive momentum, so hopefully he keeps it going. Motion to send BB to the booth. I'd rather listen to him than Fox or NBC crews. I'll start the petition, says E. Damon. I don't know how good I'd do in the booth. I don't know if that's necessarily where my skill set is at. Okay, now it's a challenge to share this stream. If you know how, I'm too old for that, but I have no friends. Be kind and share, says Shah. I never had any interest in Jamie McMurray in spite of having the same first name as mine, says Jamie. I saw Jamie McMurray win his first race at Charlotte. I sat through that miserable day. Just getting tired of it. Just keeps happening. Yeah, the right hooks are terrible. Like, there's no place in the sport for that. I agree with you, Moulton. 3 right hooks this year. One of them has failed right hook 3 months ago at the truck from Hostevar himself. Just make it stop, please. Yeah, hopefully these drivers get the message. And it might be like Door Bumper Clear said, we might need to start putting a points penalty on these things so it really gets their attention. Corey was testing parts. He was not racing the 9 car today, says Duke Chronic. That's a fair statement. I mean, that statement can be made. Congrats to RCR fans. KB was a good move, says Timber Race. Yeah, I think the KB experiment is definitely working out for RCR. McMurray is way overrated, in my opinion, says Shaw. He won a lot of big races. Vickers was better, says Shaw. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know who would be better there. Good for Cole Custard, says Duke Chronic, Napa racing fan. Trucks went back to Watkins Glen for 1 year, then quit. Went back to Sonoma 1 year, then quit. Xfinity at Sonoma could be good, though. Yeah, I like Sonoma myself. Xfinity at Sonoma date because of a Portland date. Probably will use the same car for both races like they've done previously for the West Coast swing. That would be pretty cool. Rowdy fan for life, says Jenna Allison, for sure. Good day for you. I love Cole Custer, and I love that he won, but I have to give the thanks to Parker Kligerman for killing the top 4 for it to happen. Thank you, my dude. You did God's work on the restart, says Moulton. So, hey, Cole Custer has had some races taken away from him this year, and this time he was the right place at the right time. Will Corvette ever be racing in Cup? I want to say back in the day, they did race NASCAR Corvettes because NASCAR had a sports car division. I think the Corvettes raced the old T-Birds in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. New drinking game. Every time Noah curses during his interview, you take a shot. Well, I think you had to take 3 shots today because I think there were 3 asses in his interview. One of which arguably you could say was him. Just kidding. I like Noah Gragson. He's so good to the fans, in my opinion. When I was at Martinsville, he just walked up into the stands and started sitting with anybody wearing a Noah Gragson shirt on. How many other drivers are you going to see do that, man? Noah, he's so good to the fans. I can't get enough word out about him. Napa Road America and Road Atlanta, says Mark Langren. I would love to see Road Atlanta on the schedule. That's my favorite racetrack when I used to play Forza. I want NASCAR to do iRacing points and use that to protect drivers from retaliation, says Duke Chronic. I'm with you on that. I like the idea, and I want to give Door Bumper Clear credit for it. They thought of it first. But yeah, points for sure. I think Cup attitude bleeds down through the leagues. The problem is under levels have no veterans, in my opinion, says Shaw. I think that's a big problem. Back in the day, you had guys that were like lifetimers, more guys that were lifetimers in the lower series, and now you don't have that as much. I like Road America and Road Atlanta ideas, says Napa Racing fan. Old school rules. And shows you how, says Shaw. What is going to replace the Camaro for Chevy next year? Odd time to get rid of the street car, says E. Damon Racing. I don't know. That's a good question. A lot of people have said Chevelle, but that is just a rumor. I have absolutely no clue. Drive Road America before the Girly Man chicane got light at 160 miles per hour, says Mark Langren. Yes, that's what I actually liked about Road America. Like, it was literally, how crazy do you want to get before you go up underneath that bridge? Just cutthroat now from top to bottom, says Shaw. There's an idea. Cup doubleheader, Sonoma, Saturday, Carousel Shoot, Sunday, says Napa Racing fan. You could change up the track real quick for depending on who was running what. That would be pretty cool because it would give it a different look for each track. They did. It works in iRacing, says Duke Chronic. Somebody got hit by Noah's rotor and posted a pic on Twitter. Noah told him DM him and he'd take care of him. Yeah, that's such a solid move by Noah, man. I was so stoked to see that. Jamie Schweitzer, I say Cup races that fall on April 1st should be ran in the opposite direction for the entire races. Jamie Schweitzer, that's funny because just about every track does that when they do their deal. And it looks like I have gotten to the last comment. So maybe stay on here for another minute or two if anybody else has anything they want to say. But other than that, looks like we have made it to the end of this one. Good morning, everybody, at least on the East Coast. It is 12:04 a.m. So, all right. Looks like that's the end of it. I like Cup racing, says Dawson Fair. Hit the like button, says like, dislike. Atlanta, says Mark Langren. NASCAR should cover Noah. Their damn car, says Shaw. So there you go. I like dislike, says KFB. And that's the last one. All right. Peace. Have a great morning, sir, says Jamie Schweitzer. See you later.